Hey there, it's Crystal with Divine Wellness, and I am coming to you today to see if you have thought about what herbs and what natural plant-based remedies you can use to help boost your emotional healing. Stay tuned. So, when you think of emotional healing, you may not think about herbs, plants, or natural tools. You may think it is just something in your mind or your environment, even. But I have been so thrilled in my studies and implementation to find out that there are actually some natural plants and other natural tools that we can utilize to really make a big impact on our emotional healing. And so I want to talk about the current collection that I have called Release and Refresh. There is a tea blend and a roller blend with crystals, essential oils, and herbs that have the same name and the same intention, release and refresh. So, what happens when we go through emotional healing, when we release those things, it's like pulling out a splinter, but from our heart, our spirit. And it can leave the area kind of raw and vulnerable and a bit more tender. So that's where the refresh part comes in. It's kind of like a 1-2 punch. And in my own emotional healing journey, this is what I found that when it lacked, when I didn't have the two part of it, the refresh, that I stayed in that raw space longer than I should have. And it didn't feel good. So this 1-2 punch of adding the support of refreshment afterwards and that kind of boost up has helped me significantly to come out of depression and kind of the slumps that happen when we are processing really big things and letting them go. So I also want to touch on that as well by saying when we say release, we want to make sure not to hold on to that too much because means to repeat. So we don't want to have to keep redoing or repeating that process, right? So loosely use the term release, but really think of it as letting go. Let go of what you've been holding on to that no longer serves you, that you've been carrying around that you don't need it anymore. And now when you go through this process, whether it's intentional or not, make sure you have a way to boost yourself up. So I made a tea blend out of some amazing herbs that I'm going to talk to you about. Okay, they are gorgeous. There are some yellows, dark greens, some bright pops of light green, and see if you can guess what herbs are in there. All right. Now, I'm going to go into it. My herb of the month, my focal point that I was astounded has so much potential power for helping us with our emotional healing is chamomile. Chamomile is in that beautiful herb blend, the tea blend, and also in my new roller bottles. You can see the chamomile in there. I also use chamomile for a variety of other things in some of my bath salts as well. But specifically for this release and refresh blend collection, chamomile is the main star of this. Now, there are sourcing issues, so I'm going to cover both German and Roman chamomile in the event that I need to replace one or the other. Right now, I am leading with German chamomile, but in the event of sourcing issues or supply issues, which are very prevalent today, I would love to have Roman chamomile as a backup. So I'm going to go ahead and educate you a little bit on both of them. So German chamomile helps to dispel anger, stabilize emotions, and helps release emotions linked to the past. And they may also be used to soothe and clear the mind. And Roman chamomile is both calming and relaxing, which means it can help to combat depression, insomnia, and stress. It does help minimize anxiety, irritability, and nervousness. It may also help to dispel anger, stabilize the emotions, just like German chamomile, and also help to release emotions that are linked to the past. Both of them have similar characteristics and how they help function in the body, and specifically our endocrine system and how our emotions are processed. So that's pretty encouraging. And this is why, if you find yourself drawn to drinking chamomile tea or the smell of chamomile, that may be a sign that you are ready to let go of these things and move on to the next part of your healing journey. So, next in the tea blend, a lovely dark green color, are jasmine infused green tea leaves. So, jasmine is stimulating and uplifting in times of hopelessness and nervous exhaustion. This is what can come from that slump after we have done the big emotional healing and letting go. So, jasmine also can help to reduce anxiety, apathy, depression, dilemmas that deal with relationships, indifference, and listlessness. And also, when you wear it as a cologne perfume, it can create excitability as well. So, it's also that like in between bridge, and that helps you to move up. So, then the next part of that is spearmint, that lovely bright green color in the herbal tea blend, and its hormone like activity may help to open and release emotional blocks and bring about a feeling of balance and a lasting sense of well being. So that makes that one a perfect candidate for the release and refresh blend and emotional healing journey. So I've gone through so many layers of my own emotional healing, and I can tell you that this combination is really it for me. And that's the heart and intention behind why I created this for you and anyone else who is going through this. You can have a warm cup of tea and get all these wonderful benefits. Inhale the aroma from it too, because you're getting some of those oils released, the molecules that help to continue that process at a deeper level. And now I want to go into a little bit of the green tea base as well. So, green tea, I mean, I don't typically recommend that you go out and Google everything, because there are such a plethora of opinions out there that are not necessarily true or only present one perspective. So that's not necessarily my go-to that I'm going to recommend all the time. But I find it interesting that when doing a Google search, that because I always like to look for what the opinions are, and get the full scope of what is being said out there, so that maybe I can touch on and address some of those things. But I was really stunned to see that there was kind of a consensus that green tea is awesome, which I already know this. But to actually see this kind of widespread consensus on how good green tea is just an extra punch that in our world of varying concepts and disagreements, that if there is a consensus, that kind of says a lot to me. So I want to go over a quick overview of why this is so important too, because if you are with me long enough, I like to do as much impact as I can for one thing. So to me, it not only has to smell good, but taste good, and not only taste good, but have a base of amazing health benefits. And it's not just about the health benefits, but it does have to have a good aroma, a good appeal, etc. So it engages all the senses too. So I'm not just about holistic and my healing journey, but also in the experience as well, engaging as many of the senses as possible. But green tea is really incredible, and it has a good kind of mild flavor too, depending on how much you use of it. So, green tea is actually the least oxidized when processed. So, it has a ton of antioxidant potential. Antioxidants do help to fight and may even prevent cell damage. I would definitely encourage you to look more into antioxidants and why those are so important. Yes. So, if you know anything about antioxidants, green tea is really good for that. And it's pretty much why green tea kind of rises above the other teas, because it has more of those antioxidant components as well. It's the least like broken down. There are different studies that show that people who drank green tea had greater activity in the working memory area of their brains. It's been shown to help block the formation of plaques that are linked to Alzheimer's disease. It's been shown to be very beneficial for the heart and like blood flow. And it's also been shown to, like, it seems like it helps to keep blood sugar stable in people with diabetes, among so many other things, helping to reduce inflammation. And just overall, like, I feel like that's such a good base and a component. So then when you have that as the base, your whole body is kind of getting worked on at the same time when you drink it. And then you add those layers to it for the specific reasons. So obviously the chamomile, jasmine, and spearmint are all layered to really maximize the emotional wellness as well. So you're supporting your whole body at one time and going through this journey. Like, as you're going through it already emotionally, you're using those things to help support it. So it's more seamless. And I picture it in my head like, like you have a train track and it's not quite locked into it. So it's just a really bumpy ride. I feel like that's what it is without these tools. And then with the tools, that it makes it just go, okay, well, we may be on a roller coaster or a track here that may go up and down and twist and turn, but at least it's smooth. So I'm not being jarred all the time. So I hope that analogy makes sense. That's how I think of it. So then moving forward, I mean, that's why I made the highlight. Of course, it is pretty cool to look at too. I love the artistry of how these roller bottles look, but that's why I filled these with the herb of chamomile too and let them be highlighted. So there's also chamomile essential oil in here. And again, right now I used German chamomile, but there have been different sourcing issues. And so there may be Roman chamomile in the future. So I'll just generically say chamomile for right now. And these are just so relaxing. And there is this kind of comforting, almost a sunshiny feel to it, but not a super overpowering one. I think it's a very gentle and delicate feeling that comes from it, that experience. And then there's also, I mean, there's other oils in here as well, but the highlight is the chamomile. And then there's a lot of other essential oils in here, utilizing my aromatherapy training to build those layers of the experience too, to aid in that emotional healing, letting go process, and then coming up out of that afterwards to be more balanced. So it's a full body experience. And then there's also the crystals in here that are onyx and clear quartz and a little bit of citrine. And those really support like that whole grounding level and the heart. So I love too the idea that green tea is also good for the heart, because if you study anything about the correlation between the plants and how they function in the body, even though our emotional center isn't in our heart, actually, it's in our endocrine system, but it still affects it. And people can have like broken heart syndrome or heart problems. That is where relations come into place. When you look at the chakra body systems where the energies are held, this is what affects it too. So these all go together to balance, ground, and then help uplift. So everything is connected. And then if you are going through this journey, you can use the oil. And this is my own blend or my own bottle. So don't worry about it. Me using this personally. This is a demo. So you can put it behind your ears. I love it behind the ears. I also like to put it on my wrists and then just do that. And I'll put a little bit right under my nose, so that I'm getting that added aromatherapy benefit. And then I can just put it on and go. And then I will drink or sip my tea and really be present and mindful. And that's my time when I can pray or just have praise and worship or just sit there and just be and breathe and go through the process, shut off all other distractions. And that's one way that I have started supporting my own healing journey, like even more so. And I found really good results from this. So that's why I'm so passionate about sharing these tools with you that you may have not really thought of when you think of emotional healing. Can I really help support my emotions by drinking a cup of tea? Can I really support my emotions by using like a pretty aromatherapy bottle? Absolutely. So I would love to know if there's anything you learned from this, if there was anything that you already were utilizing or something that, even if it inspired you to try something new, to grab a cup of tea and use it for healing. Maybe you've had green tea sitting on your shelf forever and you just never used it because you thought, oh, well, it's just for flavor. Oh, no. I would love to know. So drop that in the comments below and I will see you in the next video. Hey, if you enjoyed this content, make sure you click that little button and subscribe. You don't want to miss anything. So you can stay updated, get notified, click the little bell to get all the notifications, all that good stuff. Above all, thank you so much for watching. Your life matters. Now go live like it does matter. Bye.